Welcome to Rites of Passage, Stories of Service, presented by Milltree Veteran Project. I'm Dawn Davis, and in this 5-episode series, you'll hear from participants of Milltree's recent Rites of Passage program. Milltree is a nonprofit organization based in Joshua Tree, California, creating community between veterans, service members, and civilians through the arts, dialogue, shared projects, and creative entrepreneurship. Running from February through June of 2026, Rites of Passage brought participants together for a weekend retreat, writing workshops, performance coaching, and live storytelling events, offered to participants at no cost through the support of the California Arts Council Community Impact Grant and generous community donors. Today I'm talking with Hilary Sloane, a journalist, photographer, podcaster, and lifelong storyteller. Her work has taken her from local reporting here in the Morongo Basin to volunteer service abroad, documenting communities and experience through both words and images. For Rites of Passage, Hilary shared a story about her time volunteering in Tanzania, where she encountered challenges, cultural differences, and unexpected lessons about resilience and human connection. Throughout her career, she has been drawn to stories that help people better understand one another and the world around them. Today, we'll talk about service, curiosity, and the transformative power of stepping into the unfamiliar. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm fine.
It's always good to see you.
Thank you.
Speaking of the unfamiliar, your story for Rites of Passage took us to Tanzania. But much of your professional life has also involved telling other people's stories. What draws you to that kind of work?
I love people. I simply love people. And the more I do it, the more I realize that I was kind of born for this.
Okay.
To connect.
Right. What was your first experience with Milltree? Was this your first experience doing a Milltree project, or had you participated before?
I met Cheryl when I first came out here. Mm-hmm. And shortly after we met, she came up with the idea. So I was there for the early sessions, if you want to call it that, and brainstorming. I stayed for a while. I was in a transformation or a transition period myself. So I had to step away, but it was an amazing project, idea, and nonprofit.
Yeah. What inspired you to join this particular program this time?
Well, I've been writing for the radio, and then I started writing for Substack and for my podcast, Introducing People. And I realized I hadn't really written fiction or even nonfiction that was personal in a long time. So I wanted to free up that channel of creativity.
So when you went to Tanzania, it was with on behalf of a nonprofit organization that brings young people out into the world, trying to make them global citizens. And you saw the ad in a British photography magazine, is that
Yes.
right? And then you applied, and you got accepted to go. Can you give us a little bit about what that experience was like for you?
It was pretty exciting. I mean, when the ad came up and I saw it, and it was this moment of, I've got to do that. If I sit around and wait for another opportunity, it may never happen.
Was that during that transition period you talked about a little bit ago? Like you were kind of looking for something to do, or?
Not exactly. I had actually bought my little house. I was busy creating it. People were working on it. But there were things happening externally that I just felt like I needed to get some distance from.
Gotcha. So what were your expectations of what it would be like to be on this journey in Tanzania photographing for this organization versus the reality once you got there?
I had no expectations. It came almost as a reaction like, I just got to go. And then I calmed down for a week, and then I called them. It's a British nonprofit called Raleigh. And they were really nice. You do have to pay to do those things. There's a fee there. And so I had to really think about it. Plus, I was 68, as I say in the story. And, I didn't know what that was going to feel like. Hiking, carrying things on my back.
Yeah.
Once I got there, with all the fear and all the, oh my God, what did I do feelings, it was actually amazing. But I didn't expect anything. Maybe that's what made it so wonderful.
That you just took each day as it came and said, oh, well, this is a new experience. Yeah. In this program, when you first sat down to write, did you already know the story you wanted to tell, or did it reveal itself during the process?
No, actually, I was working on my book. I'm doing a book about my life. It's more creative nonfiction. And when this came up and I had to focus back on service specifically, this is part of the story. And so I wrote that.
There were 4 editing workshops in March. And in one of them, there were instructions to edit your work sentence by sentence and paragraph by paragraph. Do you put some of that same process of editing into the stories you write for the local radio station that you work for?
I do now. Yes, I do now. I've been learning and teaching myself and exploring and writing, rewriting. It's quite a process, and Gabe is amazing. He also works for the radio.
Right. Have you seen, I don't know if improvement is the right word, from when you started with the radio station and writing for a specific time frame for the news? I'm sure you're given this can be 1 minute, this can be 2 minutes. Have you felt like your skills have improved and the end product comes a lot faster, or does it depend on what kind of story you're focused on, the editing and writing process?
For the radio, usually you're taking facts, very specific facts, not feelings and vision and impressions. So if you're in a meeting, it could take hours, because you've got to then break down all the facts. And if they're new, like how water works here, how we get charged for it, chromium, all of that, then it's really specific, and there's some research that goes into every story, and it has to be done immediately. So I'll go to the meeting, and then you write the story, and you send it that night.
Well, that's a quick turnaround.
It's a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
It's really rewarding, and I love it. This was very different when you're back to this kind of writing.
Right.
You can take days. You can write it all down. It can be very rough, edgy, and then you walk away.
And come back.
And
yeah. Do you have military service in your family?
No. Oh, yes, my father.
Oh, okay.
Of course, World War II.
Okay.
He was Air Force.
Nice. We had Omar here today, and he's Air Force. Yeah. Did anything become clearer to you about your own experience the more you revised the piece about your experience in Tanzania? Did things come to the surface that you maybe had forgotten, or that came kind of, what do we call, full circle? Like, oh, I forgot about that, and here it comes in my story, and how do I feel about that now, sort of?
Absolutely. What I noticed, it's an experience I can't share with a lot of people, not to the depth of it. Because, friends my age just look at me and go, you did what? You lived where? You ate what?
Yeah.
It's very rough. But one day I had a guest at my Airbnb, and it was a family, a mother and 2 kids. And the son had also been in that program.
Oh, wow.
Not the same time, but he had volunteered.
Right.
And he and I just connected and talked. And it was in that moment I realized, one, that you can't tell everybody about this. It would be hard unless they were looking to go, maybe.
Right.
But we had so much to share, and we'd laugh about things and then go, oh my God, did we do that?
Yeah. Well, there were some images that came to mind. First, I have to say, when I first heard your story, it was so impressive to me that you were like, yeah, I just applied for this, 68 years old. I'm going to go off and hike in Africa. And then when I heard some of the things that you went through, like, I think the line was, no one explained, hole in the ground, my own hand.
Barrel of water, yes.
Yes.
That was the first day.
Oh my gosh.
And I didn't know what I was looking at. I didn't even research before I went, and I should have.
I don't know, maybe you wouldn't have gone if you had.
Yeah.
And you talked about, also in your piece, you talked about sitting down to breakfast with an elder who was younger than me. Can you expand on that?
Well, there's kind of a hierarchy in the villages. And most people don't live that long. I think the average age is about 64 years old. So the madam of the house, the Bibi is grandma and Dada is sister. And so we were in people's houses, and the woman of the house was the elder, but she was way younger than I am. When I do have a photo. It's lovely. I did meet somebody who was probably in her 80s, but they're so weathered. You know, she was still picking greens.
Wow.
Out in the field, and she saw me in my white hair, and she just ran over and hugged me.
Oh, wow.
I mean, there's just like, oh my God, there you are.
Yeah.
Someone I can relate to.
Right. Wow. That's pretty amazing.
It was amazing. She was tiny. She couldn't have been bigger than 4 feet.
And what were some of the projects that you all were doing, or you were documenting, that the younger people that were in the program were doing?
There were 2 sections to it. One was, now I can't think of the name. So this came from Prince Charles, this whole program.
Okay.
And there was a program for the wealthy kids, for titled kids, to go out and experience life. And that was very different than everything else. Everything else, then the government came in and they decided to open it to everybody. And they put grants. So half the money was government sponsored. And then the kids had to raise the money, doing things, you know, asking, GoFundMe or things like that.
Yeah.
And most of what I got involved with was that side. So they built toilets and entrepreneurship, where they'd encourage people from the village to build businesses, and they were given a stipend to start it. And what was the other thing? There was one more, but those were the 2 big ones. Building. There was like 4 teachers for 1,000 kids. I think I even marked it as less, but it depended on the village.
Right.
But there were just, and the books were used and reused and reused, and they were paper that was thin and starting to, you know,
Wear
shed.
away.
But
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So there were a lot of things that were really different. Their way of getting the kids to behave would not be acceptable here.
Oh, wow.
And you can't do anything.
Yeah.
But then you have to look at 4 adults to 1,000 kids. And the toilets, that was a really big deal, because they had, when we came in, there were like 6 toilets, these holes in the ground.
Right.
So they built more, and girls once they started menstruating, couldn't go to school. Because it was thought of as something awful.
Oh, my goodness. But, at the end of the day, the whole purpose of the program is to help these younger kids go out into the world and see what's different and help them become, the ones that are participating in the program.
Yes.
You know what? Just to go out to a completely different country and a different culture and just see how different it is and how other people live and what their customs are. And yeah, I can see how that would definitely help a younger person who's growing up in some semblance of privilege just see that and take that back with them as they move forward in their own lives.
It was incredible. There's one Syrian girl. She had been volunteering since she was like 12. I think she was in like Liverpool or, middle of England. And actually, I don't know if it's the middle, but... And went to the refugee camps, helped the new immigrants coming over, how to get medicine, how to buy food, how to get around, how to take buses.
Yeah.
And so she was such a vibrant force. She already came in with that.
Right. Wow. Just a transformative experience for someone of that age. And she kept coming back, so it was obviously meant a lot to her.
Oh, her and a friend went and developed a program where they could record people that were beginning to get Alzheimer's and losing their memory. So they could hear their stories.
Wow.
And then I met a young man, Sam. We're still friends. He started a nonprofit. It's now in Bali.
Wow.
And I'm on that board, so... that the connection across the world.
Totally. Yeah. Speaking of that, why don't we share about your podcast and then dive into your new nonprofit?
Oh, thank you.
Sure.
Well, the podcast came out of all of this. It's called Driftwood Conversations, and it's a conversation. Just a conversation. And I've been blessed to meet people all over the world, although there's so many creative people here in the high desert.
Yes.
That it's, I could go on for years and not cover everyone.
Totally.
And that's doing well. I have a Substack that announces the podcast and trying to do it every week. But right now I'm also developing a nonprofit, which is called What's Good in the World. And it's kind of an extension of that. It's connecting people, connecting groups that are doing things that are making the world a better place.
We definitely need more of that
More
put out
focus.
into the world. And I think that encourages people, if they think they had even an inkling of an idea of something that they wanted to do, to make the world a better place, that just amplifies it.
And there are also people that I think are already doing such incredible things, but they don't think of it that way.
Right.
It's just who they are.
Right. Yeah.
They'll open their house and feed their neighbor.
Yeah.
Or go see the lady down the street that can't get to the grocery store. And particularly here, there's so much of that.
Right.
So being able to find those people and say, wow,
Right.
that's terrific. Thank you.
And it's encouraging, right? So to be seen, even though you're not doing it to be seen, but to receive that appreciation is lovely.
And to support them, because when we're working that way, we don't know what kind of support we need.
Right. Right. So looking at this entire process that you went through to create this piece and perform it publicly, what part of this experience would you say surprised you the most? Was there anything that surprised you or that you discovered?
Well, I learned a lot from Gabe. The editing part. The writing part, I'd been in writing groups, so I don't know that was a surprise, but it was nice to get back to it. And Renee Pickup was encouraging, and I'm still going to some of her classes on Monday night, the online
Sure.
writers group.
Yes.
And so just getting back into it and feeling that world again, and then being able to do a spoken word. I did them when I first came out with Cheryl,
Okay.
but it's been so long I was nervous.
Sure.
So I guess it surprised me a little that by the third time I felt great. It was easy.
Nice. What happens, or what was your observation during this process of veterans and civilians sitting down together and sharing stories in the same room?
I think what I've seen is Cheryl built in so much respect into the core of this organization that they're people. They're just people with stories. And obviously the veterans' stories are tough, a lot of them.
Right.
They're very tough. But that doesn't make somebody who's grown up here or grown up in LA or New York, doesn't make their life story any less important because it's not been the same. So the respect from both sides, I want to hear you, was the overall focus. I want to hear you.
Right. And hold space, maybe, too. Just hold space. And that everybody has something in their life that was difficult, painful, that maybe they're trying to heal from as well. Talk to me about storytelling as a form of service.
You know, just listening to people is so much service. The other day I was at the pharmacy at Vaughn's, and this woman and I started to talk, and then the woman in front of us started to talk to us. And we talked about everything, you know, growing up in families and prices. And, and it made the line go very fast. But it was, for me, it was a perfect example. You know, that here are three strangers with different ideas, different values, different experiences. And all of a sudden, we had a sisterhood going.
Yeah.
You know, we were connected. And I walked away just like feeling great.
Yeah. And I feel like that's something we need today, is that community with each other. Yeah.
And if we listen to each other, then we're not so alien.
Right.
You know, alienated or alien. Like, well, you believe that, but why? What's your experience? Where did it come from?
So to learn more.
To learn more.
For different perspectives and add that to our own and maybe soften some of the things we're feeling.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And realize that somewhere in the core there, we're alike.
Totally.
You know, we have fears, we have hopes, we have expectations. We're trying to learn how to be human.
Yes. Yes. And it takes a long time. It takes a long time.
Well, if you consider reincarnation a really long time.
Right, totally. If you met someone who had never experienced a Milltree program, what would you say to them to encourage them to participate?
I would tell them it's a really safe place. That whatever they're feeling or thinking, it's not what's happening. There are people there that really have earned empathy and compassion.
Thank you very much for doing this today. I appreciate you.
And you.
You've been listening to Rites of Passage, Stories of Service, presented by Milltree Veteran Project. If this conversation resonated with you, I hope you'll share it with a friend. Music for this series is courtesy of participant John Kalb and his fellow songwriters from the Milltree Songwriters Workshop. recorded at Goat Mountain Studio in Landers, California. To hear more stories like this, support the work, or learn about future workshops, visit mill-tree.org. Until next time, thanks for listening.